The average UK car finance payment is £400 per month, £4,800 per year on an asset that is depreciating in value for every day that you own it. Now, what if I told you that same £400 per month invested over 25 years could be worth around £600,000? Today we're talking about the one thing that's keeping more Brits poor than anything else, their car. Before we get into the crazy numbers, let's paint the picture here. Over £30 billion. That's how much outstanding car finance debt there is in the UK right now. 30 billion with a B, and the average monthly payment is £400, and that's not a guess, that is backed up by data, and it's usually somewhere between 3 to 5 years just to drive a car that is literally going down in value the second you drive off the forecourt. Now, I'm not here to tell you not to have a car. Of course you do need a car. But what I am here to tell you is that the way people are getting their cars is what is keeping most people poor. And I can prove it. So let's get into it. The most popular way to finance a car in the UK is PCP, Personal Contract Purchase. We see this all of the time in our bank statement breakdown videos because it has become so normal these days for a car payment to be part of your monthly expenses. Now, it does sound like you're getting a good deal because those monthly payments are often less than what it would be for a traditional loan. But here's what the dealer doesn't tell you. Let's say you walk into a dealership and you pick up a £25,000 car on a 4-year PCP deal. Typical terms, so you put down a £3,000 deposit and then your monthly payments are £380. Over 4 years, that's £18,240 in monthly payments alone. Plus the deposit, you're up to £21,240. But at the end of the deal, you've got that balloon payment to pay. That's the lump sum the dealer says you have to pay if you want to keep the car and for it to actually be yours. That can often be around £10,000. So to own the car outright, you're looking at around £31,000 in total. And just a reminder that the car's value at the beginning was £25,000. So that's £6,000 in interest. But often we choose to ignore this because it's affordable monthly payments. And that sounds a lot better. But now here's the bit that really hurts. That £25,000 car after 4 years is probably going to be valued closer to £12,000. A 50% depreciation, and you paid £31,000 for an asset that you now own that is worth £12,000. Now, of course, many people just hand the car back and they never actually own it. But now you've just rented a depreciating asset for the last 4 years. And of course, that still came with a cost. All right, so enough of the PCP talk. Let's get back to what this channel is all about, making small changes to our spending so we can retire earlier and reach financial freedom. Let's talk about what that £400 could do if it was put into something that makes you richer rather than poorer. When I'm running through people's bank statements on Bank Statement Breakdown, they often tell me they can't afford to invest whilst they have finance on a car. And this just makes me laugh, to be honest, because this is not a cost of living problem. This is a priority problem. Most people believe that they do not earn enough to invest, but lifestyle creep is real and their priorities are all wrong. Now, if you're watching and thinking, yeah, but I do need a car, I'm going to show you one practical alternative and 2 golden rules in a minute. But first, let's run the numbers and see what's really going on. And if you are enjoying the video so far, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. I'm currently putting out 2 videos a week, so there's plenty more content for you to get into. So let's run some scenarios, run the numbers, and bring out the compound calculator. And this is where it gets staggering. Scenario A, you take out a PCP deal for £400 a month over the next 25 years. Now, of course, you're not going to be on the same PCP deal for 25 years, but most people do tend to just let them roll over to the next car. After 25 years, you own nothing because you've handed back the car every time, but you've paid out over £120,000 in monthly installments alone. Scenario B is you buy a reliable second-hand car for around £5,000. And granted, it's not the flashiest car on the road, but it does get you from A to B. And of course, most cars have Bluetooth these days anyway. What more do you really need? You then invest that £400 a month into a stocks and shares ISA, tracking something like the VWAG. The VWAG historically returns around 10% a year, so that £400 consistently every month for 25 years is going to be worth around £500,000. Now, a £500,000 retirement fund doesn't sound too bad. And if you did also want to invest what you would save on fuel, tax and insurance, then sure, you could probably get it up to around £600,000 in retirement. But let's just keep things simple. And it's also important to note that this will be absolutely tax-free because you can utilise the stocks and shares ISA. So let's just compare the different outcomes here. In scenario A, you've spent £120,000 in monthly payments and own absolutely nothing. Whereas in scenario B, you've invested that £400 a month and you've come away with £500,000. Makes you think, doesn't it? Now I know that a £5,000 second-hand car isn't going to work for everyone. Everybody's situation is different. And that's why we've got some different options here and some golden rules. Now, as we mentioned, option one is to go and buy a second-hand £5,000 car. Now, realistically, this car isn't going to run forever, but it will last you a long time if it's looked after properly. And yes, I know there will be maintenance, there will be repairs, but they're definitely not going to tally up to the amount of the PCP contract. With a PCP, you're often paying for convenience, a hassle-free life, and that's why option two is to still finance a car, but do it responsibly with these two golden rules. Rule number one is that it should never be more than 10% of your take-home pay. If your take-home is £2,000 per month, you should not be leasing that £400 BMW. And the second rule is that whatever you pay each month for that car, you should be matching that into your stocks and shares ISA. And simply put, if you can't afford to match it, then you can't afford the car. Ultimately, the choice is yours, but have a think about what that car is really costing you in the long run. We recently performed a bank statement breakdown on Marcus, who was leasing a £345 per month BMW. It proves that lifestyle creep is real because he was driving a older Fiesta, he got a pay rise, he got a promotion and immediately upgraded the car. Now he's got a bunch of credit card debt because he is living above his means. So if you want to check that video out, it will be somewhere on the screen right now so you can go and take a look.